All right, welcome everybody online and in person. This is our first of probably several Dragon Dreaming sessions for our processing center and kitchen and dry goods storage area out at Grace 2. So we got this beautiful whiteboard over here and some markers down here, and we're just going to use this board to record any of the ideas that come up for us that we want to share. And we are recording this for people to be able to watch later. So if you want to speak, be sure to use the microphone so that we can pick up everybody's voices. But I just wanted to give a quick overview. Who's ever dragon dreamed before? Anybody familiar with that term or learning it for the first time? Yeah. So it's a really simple process. It's got 4 stages. The first stage is dreaming, and the whole point of that is no limitations. If money wasn't a limit, time wasn't a limit, imagination's literally the only limit. If you can imagine it, it's possible. So this is the dreaming stage that we're in right now. So we're not limiting ourselves. We're just going for broke, as they say. And then after we've been able to collect all of those ideas, the next step is to plan. So from that, we go through and we make a plan. The third step is to actually do the plan. And the fourth step is to celebrate that we did the plan and we did the thing. And then the process just starts over again. So it's literally a constant creation loop here. You just go from dreaming to planning, down to doing, over to celebrating. And then when you celebrate, you have more space to dream again. So we have some folks online, and again, I'm not going to be over by the computer, so I can't see you if you raise your hand or anything like that. So I invite you to just unmute and stay a part of the conversation that way. Oh, Dennis is going to turn the TV for me on. Okay, perfect. So we got markers up here. We've got inspiration in our brains, and I'm sure lots of notes in our notebooks. And so I'm just going to I think I do want to give just like a little bit of structure for what we're going to um, have here. If you guys are not part of the Grace 2 signal chat, there is one in there specifically designed for collecting these ideas and these inspirations into one space. Kind of think of it like a bucket. So we're collecting them all in a bucket here. And we're doing our absolute best not to have a holy bucket. This is a holy sacred process that we're going through here, and we don't want to have a bunch of holes in our bucket. So when this inspiration pours out of you, having somewhere to collect it is really important. So that's what that signal chat is for. And I'm just asking folks that they respect that space and don't flood it with a whole bunch of stuff. Do it in an organized way. And the best way I've come up with that so far is to type up all your ideas into one message, and then that way it can be copied and pasted into the master document so that it's everybody can then see that master document and we can all see each other's ideas. And then from there, we're going to group them into different categories, and then we'll be able to, hone in what exactly, work together to decide what our priorities are, and then from there, come up with the plan. So I looked it up real quick just to see, when you're designing a community kitchen or a commercial kitchen, what are the main things that you want to consider. And so I think we'll start with grouping our ideas that way. And it was food storage. So how are we going to store the food? And that means both in containers, but also, like refrigeration and canning and, whatever it might be, because we actually are going to be talking about, we're collecting ideas for the dry good area and the processing area as well. So food storage, also food preparation. We've got cooking on the list. And service. So after you've cooked this beautiful food, how are you going to serve it to people? And then also clean up. So how are we going to do our wash stations, both for people using dishes, but also for our people in the kitchen with all the dishes to do? Yes.
Are we missing the point for disposal or like whatever?
Oh,
like
okay.
the
Yeah.
kitchen
So where
produces?
kitchen waste?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
And I know that, I don't know if you're planning on being here for the full conversation, but if you did want to go first with that, if you have any ideas of that, and then if you want to go back to your thing, or what's your plan, planning on being here for the,
No, really, just my request is just to make it that it makes the most sense as possible. Like, there's like easy access,
mm-hmm,
easy access for the people who is collecting it, and easy access for the people in the kitchen. So where they are working, and where they are putting the thing, the 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 waste. Um, Easy to clean. Um,
do you have any ideas of easy to clean things, or
yeah,
you're just requesting things?
I believe the system that we currently using is the best that we can possibly have right now. We have many options where we can go and wash the thing. The buckets is a good system for me for now. And
Mm-hmm,
yeah, I see in the future like an actual um like a watching station for this specific.
mm-hmm. I'm gonna
Uh,
say with a hose would be really nice, and then that it's outside.
yeah, that would be let's say just like it's right now in the outside the chicken coop, outside the soil center. Like yes, there's gonna be spaces available for that.
Okay. I'm going to pause for just 1 second. We had some more people join us, so welcome. Thank you very much for being here. We got this board, and it's not my intention that I'm the only one writing on here. So you guys are welcome to come up and share your ideas, and we're just collecting them now. And Erica, I want to touch in with you. Are you kind of sort of scribing like you did before?
I'm open to it if needed, and if so, please give me direction.
That would be super helpful for me.
Okay.
And I think I can get a full transcript from this thing, so, but bullet points like you did before was awesome. The list,
Bullet points
yeah.
per category.
Yes, and also, so this board does say, well, actually, it doesn't. So we're dreaming both for here at Grace One, but all this is mainly for dreaming big for Grace Two. But obviously, we have a kitchen here at Grace One too. So any upgrades that we can bring and start implementing right away would be really great to like star those. And I know that before you had kind of sectioned them out for things for that we can start doing here right away. So that was very helpful also. So
Okay. All
thank-
right. I can do that.
Um, Adding to just not the organic, but definitely like the space for selection, classification, and yeah, plastic bags, cardboard, all the other like non-organic waste that is uh yeah happen in the kitchen with the packaging, plastic bags, and all those things.
yes.
Um, so eventually, this can be processed in the recycling center, like
Mhm.
starting from the kitchen.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. As I was getting ready to come over here, I started making a list, and it's just becoming more and more evident to me, like how interdependent everything is. And so it's like you could say that this is a kitchen meeting, but this is not just a kitchen meeting. This is literally a community-wide meeting because the kitchen is the heart of the home. It always has been. It's where everything starts, and it's just you can literally see the web that branches out into everything else. And so, yeah, or this does go from waste collection here to the recycle center to, it just webs out into everything. So thank you for that, bringing up that point. And yeah, I think we definitely learned a lot of valuable lessons here as far as the recycle and resourcery center goes. But that's not going to be my main focus of this one, but it is important just to understand that it does start in the kitchen, because if we are bringing in things still from the outside that is non-organic waste, we're going to have to deal with that. Ideally, we're producing most of the food, but that's still several years away. So, but thank you.
Is this a space for questions?
Sure, we can ask a question.
So is this the general idea of,
So that was a proposal that came through many months ago, like, I don't know, November or something like that. It was just a real general thing. John just gave him a list of, put these things on there and give me a quote for a building that has a footprint this size. So none of that is set in stone at all. It was literally just a jumping off point. And from that, we've already found several things where it's just like, no, we know this won't work. We know this won't work. We know this won't work. So it's the only thing on there is the footprint. Like, we
Okay.
know how big the building is going to be, and
Okay.
everything else in between is up for.
so what I
Yeah.
have to add on to the board is flow. And when I'm sharing about flow, that world is the entering and exiting of every single space and how they all fit into conjunction with each other. So that, like, for example, Grace One Kitchen, that back laundry room, if that could be a processing room and we could put a door in there. To the outside, we could be bringing things up, prepping things on the outside, bringing them in. So it's just the flow, I think, is very important.
Yes, it is. And also, all the entrances and exits. So not just between the rooms, but from the outside too. Yeah. Uh-huh. I went in at very last minute to Google. We've had quite a morning here. Everyone that's here has been here with us, but I went into Google top 10 areas to consider when designing and my plan was to put in commercial kitchen, and Google autofilled it with mental institution. So yeah, I was like, wow, okay, that's where I am today. Yeah, yeah. Who needs a chip? All right, so thank you. Yes, Dennis was talking about flow. And there is another list in there. I'll just read it out loud. I'm not going to put it on the board, but top 10 things to consider in that thing was the layout and workflow. So that's literally the first thing on the list. And that was the first thing that both of us noticed when we looked at that plan. It's like, clearly you guys have never been in a kitchen before, because yeah, there's just why would you put the door there? It's like, so yes, that's definitely to be considered. And the more eyes that look at the plan, the more people are going to be able to say, like, I mean, that's a delicate line. Everybody can't, anyway, having 30 people's opinion and who makes the decision is another thing. But sometimes some people have an input where it's like, wow, all of us missed that, so it is
So-
good to have input.
So this is just an opinion, what I have two of them.
Huh?
And having the space of the kitchen somewhere where you can see outside,
Oh, yeah.
like, I feel like that's a prison cell that I don't want to enter. Like having windows and air that can flow through. And then,
Open
according to
air.
that blueprint, if we're gonna be, the second thing I have is, if we're gonna be dining outside, it would be really cool to where the kitchen could just bring up their food, set it on a bar, and we could all just go eat their plates, boom, bada boom. So just, yeah, thinking of that.
Thank you. There's a possibility of adding anything. So you guys weren't here at the beginning. So the point of Dragon Dreaming is actually that we're in the first stage right now. So we're in the dream stage. So right now there's no limitations. Budget's not a limit.
Yay.
Power's not a limit. Time's not a limit. We're just really getting everything that we've dreaming of on a thing. So yes, for me it was, yeah, that was the first thing that was on my list. Ventilation. Yes. So.
I have a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Some famous guy said that. Well,
And what do you got, Debbie? Yes, that would be amazing if we could actually have, but if we have enough of this airflow, we won't need it. So especially up at Grace 2, it gets cool enough that, but ventilation, exhaust fan. I got it right there. Air conditioned, right there. Air conditioned. Yes. Dream big, air conditioned.
That's why, like, when I said, okay, no problem with the budget.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that would be great. Yes. You never have to leave the AC. All right, Go
Yeah.
ahead, Debbie. Can someone let Jan in the room? And go ahead, Debbie. Debbie, you got something?
I do.
Yes. These two are both co-hosts. Can you all see that Jan
I'm
is on
not, it doesn't show up on the screen.
the? Oh. Okay, we'll get it down here. Thank you.
Talk about flow.
Microphone.
So when we're talking about flow, the how to enter, exit each space, they work together. Okay, yes. So we're talking from when we deliver the products to the ones who process them until they reach the kitchen. Like they supposed to be a washing station, like uh like it's space to prepare like the things before to go in the kitchen.
Check. Yes, that goes in the preparation. So having a
Preparation.
completely
Okay.
separate place that's ready
Okay.
for, that's the plan anyway right now. Separate.
If you guys deliver category specific, it's gonna help me on the note taking too.
Okay, this is preparation.
Preparation.
Thank you.
Did we touch on layout and workflow?
Just slightly.
Okay, so now we're on preparation.
Yes, workflow was just considering how to enter and exit each space and how those spaces work together. So going from room to room, but also going from inside to outside. So that was very general. That was just, wasn't really specific on that one. But preparation, for me, my dream is that all produce that's not ready to be used in the kitchen is coming to a separate area. That's my dream, especially anything that's muddy.
Yes.
Anything that's giant that needs to be chopped up, anything that has big shells on it like cacao, any of this stuff is going in a different space. So Sarah's our processing queen.
An
What do you got?
outside workstation.
Workspace.
It's literally right outside of the kitchen and it has like a wash station, yeah, a refrigerator.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's where you can actually have all prep work doing there as well. And a hose spigot where you can wash and spray everything onto the ground.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
amen. Deep
Deep
sinks.
The floor drain, like a shower,
Mm-hmm.
you know, tub. or
Floor
whatever.
drains.
Uh-huh.
Right, guys, so we can make sure we get them all, okay?
And easy to wash everything. Like if it's outside, like having it so that the space you can just take maybe a power washer in there and just hose it off.
That's right.
Amen. My thing, there is also a Google Drive, a Google folder. So if you guys have images that you want to share, you can dump them in there. Instead of I'm really asking folks to really assist me in this, putting the things in the space so that I don't have to backtrack and go back through and do it. So there's a Google Drive folder that can collect all of these photos. And so I've put in there a bunch of photos of stainless steel sinks and walls and cabinets and drawers and all of these things. And I know that that can seem a little industrial to folks, but honestly, it can look really nice and clean. And that's my biggest thing, is being able to come in here literally with a hose and scrub everything down and just rinse it down and it goes down the drain. Like actually having the ability to clean really, really well.
I wouldn't even mind there to be like a stove that was in the
Yes.
preparation area, just so they
Yeah.
can, we
Yes.
can prep certain food items
My
and
thing, it
storage.
just keeps going back
Uh-huh.
and forth. I'm not
Um,
sure what's happening.
Yeah,
Ease of wash.
The outdoor preparation
wanted a
area
Coke?
could also have a completely off-grid, off of any power setup where it would be wood burning. Like when we got the pizza oven thing that we installed in the wall, there were many visuals that that same company had of just like counter height, put the wood in, and it would heat up, you know, everything from, you know, plates to be able to, you know, boil water, you know, griddle to cook, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Fire wood burning stove outdoor kitchen is part of our prep area where it can just be utilized for.
then the shed that has prepped wood.
Yes, an
So,
undercover area
yeah,
to store all the wood
to
right
store
near
all
it.
the wood, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm saying all bulk and dirty prep happens outside. So Erica, here's kind of a recap.
Yeah, please.
This is for prep. So all bulk and dirty prep happens outside of the kitchen in a separate area. So we're talking about an outside workspace.
Mm.
And we're asking that that have both a deep sink and a fridge, access to a hose and also a stove.
And that would be the beautiful place to
And-
have, like Sat Yoga had the fully screened in, elongated room where bananas hang on one side. And
So that's more
our fruits
storage,
are
yeah.
being stored in a beautifully ventilated but protected from bugs. Our eggs can be in there, our fruit can be in there, our ripening bananas can be in there. Anything that we want to keep away from the dogs, the critters, the animals, the pests of all sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
So
keep on
that's-
the size of that because a lot could go in that room. Just keep thinking of all the things that we try to keep bugs off of here.
So are you talking about storage or?
Debbie skipped to storage right now, but so
Okay.
that's storage. On the preparation was still ease of washing. So that's where
Yeah.
the hose and the deep sinks come in.
Yeah.
But also ease of washing walls and like the whole thing, like floor
Mhm.
drain and washing the walls and stuff. And then it also came up in case of no power, having access to wood burning stove and also shed for wood storage. So for me, I love the idea of like color coded stuff. So and storage of like cutting boards and things like that so that it's easy to know like these things belong in the preparation area. All of our pink cutting boards go out there. The green means they're in the kitchen, you know, things like that. And one thing that I've been in other communities, they have designated cutting boards for only onion and garlic. So it's like, these are onion and garlic cutting boards, and that prep actually happens outside in the prep area too. So only the stuff that's ready to come in the kitchen gets stored there. So you want to move on to anything else for the prep place? Processing? This is really kind of processing too. Oh, okay. Debbie, yeah? Microphone.
This goes in like kombucha is just, you know, that's my little box that I'm
Mhm.
thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
And what I know, like having a stove nearby, stove and a sink is very important, and having the kombucha stored there. I don't really know if kombucha needs to be stored in I mean, it definitely would need to be stored where the insects and bugs wouldn't get to it, but um, it could potentially be outside as well.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily
Does
have
it need to be dark?
I think the preference is darkness. I think dark and just kind of room temperature is actually ideal. Actually, I haven't really researched. Anybody know anything?
Yes.
It goes way faster if it's in the heat. The process happens a lot faster and you can miss the window. You can get a lot of vinegar if it's too hot.
And too much light will affect it
So,
negatively.
That definitely ferments faster. It was fermenting faster in the back, in the room, but different than the tea room. So I'm noticing that.
okay. So, anything else? Stove and sink nearby, no insects getting at it, dark ideal, room temperature. I like having bigger containers. They actually had plastic containers instead of glass.
You mean the jugs?
Yeah, like instead of glass, they actually had plastic 5-gallon bucket and it had a spigot on it. And so they were able to do like just 2 batches and it was enough instead of having.
yoga.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Maybe even stainless steel shelving where you can
Yeah.
put them on like a stainless steel
Mhm.
shelving so you can actually access it. And then like a stainless steel countertop so you can prep and well, it could be in the prep area, but a stainless steel countertop where you can
Mhm.
prep all the fruit. Yeah, I mean the two-step process is making the tea and letting it ferment, and then there's cutting up the fruit or whatever and bottling things.
My imagination just kind of went to that might be like a scientific station. I've been to a farm where they were making the microorganisms, but they were making them for human consumption. So I'm just putting in the seed of like all this stainless steel containers, sinks, like it might be a laboratory of experimentation for creating health products for our bodies. Just, yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
We'll factor that into maybe the apothecary stuff. Boards?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Boards, write things down.
Communication boards, like
Yeah.
whiteboards?
Mhm.
Whiteboards or whatever you can put there, so we know what's going to be happening during the week, month, or whatever. Like actually having a space where everybody can go and see what's going on.
So there's a request for more communication, whiteboards, chalkboards,
Yeah.
So everybody
weekly
is
schedule, weekly, monthly schedule.
So that's something you guys could see happening more now as well here at Grace One.
Amen, yes.
I have
Coming to a village near you.
a vision of this preparation area having a vibe similar to Rancho, to where we can all be sitting around processing,
Mhm.
listening to music,
Speakers.
you know,
Yeah.
just being in a beautiful vibe. I mean, like a big, long, beautiful table where like it can be processing, but it can also be just whatever, communing as a community.
Yeah.
And it can be everything from quilt making to, you know, like what Mel's beautiful vision is for her. You put it in the chat.
Community communion.
Apothecary, just, yeah,
All right.
it can be a
I love it.
gathering place, a gathering
Community
place for
communion
creation,
vibe.
co-creation
Mhm.
space. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm. Beautiful.
Dennis said it took him back to his childhood, painting a picture of.
Gonna make a big,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
all right. So anything else for the preparation?
preparation.
Deep, what did you say? Deep freezer and what else? Closet? Okay.
What kind of closet?
Was that in a mic? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
What kind of closet?
A
Vision?
storage closet, a deep freezer, a storage closet. I just wrote down color coded I would love things to be color coded so people know where to put things.
Yes. Got it.
What do you mean with deep freezer?
Like a chest freezer like we've gotten here.
Yeah, like it's like the one that we have in here, but it's specifically for like all the things that we prep that we have bulk
Like
in.
the one that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
Can have
do we have
dehydrators
as
out there
well
as well?
like?
Would dehydrators be part of the
Yes.
prep area?
Dehydrators would be part of here.
Uh-huh. And there's a nice
Well,
breeze
really-
flowing through there, so the heat they put out is not gonna.
Really, these are processing. So we're gonna go over here. Processing
Okay.
is the dehydrators. Yeah.
In my mind, they are too. kind of, sort of.
A room, like a cooled room,
Like
where
a
to put the
walk-in.
veggies. Not yeah, like a room where you enter and it's like a fridge inside where actually keep all the veggies. Is that option in my head? Where as well we can keep a freezer inside or many because it's gonna be a big space. In order to keep like storage and things. But in my head as well like the possibility of building like a underground storage. Uh, that's definitely in my head.
What kind of storage?
Like-
Underground
Like,
storage.
Oh, like
into
a,
the wall. Mm-hmm.
Like not it does not need to be like
like a,
like
a
in
cellar
the
type thing.
in the kitchen. It's something where like we
I
can
love
just
that.
keep like things that is being processed. Like if we don't have enough room in that space, we have this thing like like it's gonna be underground
Dang.
and
We call them root cellars.
I
Storage
don't
cellar.
We call
uh-huh.
them root cellars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
something like that just to give it a try. Yeah.
We can. Yeah. I don't know if it will stretch, but yes.
Oh, where they might be able to read the board.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a pan of it at the end. Sarah, is there anything else you want to put in anywhere? Okay. All right. And yay. All right. So want to move on to storage? Any ideas for storage? I'm ready to implement right now Tupperware containers that are all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I still don't think they can read it, but
No, not quite. Almost.
I can scoot in. I was expecting
Oh yeah, it's getting there.
was
Can
expecting
you
there
go?
more people here, but
How many people are in the room?
it'll work.
Looks like you got it. Mhm.
All right.
So
Yeah.
for storage, I'm picturing something very similar to what Sat Yoga had, to where it would be naturally cooler because it's going to be darker and it's going to have some ventilation, but it's also going to have a dehumidifier. Uh, It's going to be a darker,
So let's
cooler place.
we got two things of storage here. So you want to
Okay.
which one we doing now? This is more like kitchen storage of food within the kitchen, and then we'll go into the dry goods later. So which one do you want to do now?
Whatever you think.
Let's stick on the kitchen for a minute. But you're saying is that what I'm hearing? Dehumidifier for the long-term storage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Storage, I guess, is long-term or short-term.
Yeah.
Short-term storage would be
In kitchen,
In the
to-go
kitchen,
containers, Tupperwares.
in the
Yeah.
kitchen, storage containers, bins and so on, that would be ideally on
Bigger,
one wall
Big-
possibly.
the bigger bulk areas into smaller bulk containers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna brain fart. What is the thing called that pulls moisture out of the air? It's not a dehydrator.
Dehumidifier.
Dehumidifier, thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Good call.
Dry and dark and as cool as possible.
Mm-hmm. Light and moisture control. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what were you saying about against one wall? I missed that.
I was just picturing, if we're gonna have a rectangle shaped space, that everything will be along the walls. So I don't know.
For me, this is one of the things for storage.
Efficiency.
I want to see more shelving above the countertops. For
Yes,
me, that's huge.
yes,
But what I also want to see is lighting below those shelves so that it's actually lighting up the countertops, because once they put the shelves in this kitchen, it blocked off the light.
yes. Lots of
So,
natural light.
uh,
The main part of the kitchen would either be
So lighting under
screen,
the counters.
big windows with screens where we can open them up. The lower level, I believe.
That's the
Yeah.
plan, yes. Lighting under shelves. And so wall shelving. Wall shelving and lighting underneath those shelves onto the countertops. You got that, Erica?
Uh-huh.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything
And
from the folks online that want to add anything?
I think I had some from our last meeting. Food storage.
I'm going to include in this storage also of like pots and pans and cooking stuff. Like I would love to have a big pan rack, and then also
Yeah,
storage for the cooking utensils, having hooks for those. And so
yeah,
those all being the same ideally,
Let-
so you can just hang all of them on a thing, and they're easy to reach, and they're up and
Yes.
they're not on the surface that you are using to prep stuff.
and everything has a place and it's very efficiently located near the area where you're going to be using it. So all of the serving bowls and utensils are going to be near the service window.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they'll be on shelves right beneath and to the either side of the service window, ready to put right up and serve.
Mhm. Yeah, I got that around the utensils.
Yep.
Even using wooden and silicone, stop using metal for cooking and use them for serving, and keeping the metal servings out by the serving station. That was something I marked as could be implemented soon and now in this kitchen, if you wanted, Debbie.
Mm-hmm.
Like pare down our utensils and um, separate them by section. Even having the bin maybe outside below in a serving station. You, spoons and those metal ones for out there.
Do we like the idea of the cooking space being in the center in the form of an island? That was what was on the tentative plan.
The cooking space is like
the
a stove.
the stove and the exhaust hood, for example, and a work table on
Not on the island,
either side of that.
right?
The oven can be underneath the cooking area or more efficiently, possibly in the wall near
Yes.
a baking station. So one of the corners of this main kitchen is going to be the
The
baking,
baking,
the baking
the
area.
Debbie area,
Yeah, maybe. Or
Debbie zone.
or
Nobody step foot.
the table, no. The
Back the
table
fuck
would
off.
have all of the baking related items as well as the oven to be able to put the stuff in. So if somebody's sauteing things, cooking things, I mean, there can be an oven below that stove that's in that center island as well. But
Yeah.
I actually
baking
saw.
things
Mhm.
separate from the baking of the meal, basically. So we're not stepping
Mm.
things in and
So
out of the ovens.
You're wanting two
That's a
ovens, is that
must.
what you're saying?
Debbie's oven and then everybody else's.
Freddie proposed, and I did find it, actually, Price Mart has one, an in-the-wall oven. It's sort of like
You
I
know
don't
what
know.
would be cool? Like one of those like pull out. You've seen those pull out beds that go in the wall? You like
Mhm.
pull out an oven and then like put it back into it.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't pull out. It's actually built into the wall, and you just get doors to it right there. And
I saw on one of those commercial kitchens websites that they actually have these ovens that are designed for a kitchen, like a commercial kitchen, but they're smaller. So it's like if you only need to put one tray of something in it, you don't have to heat up a big giant thing. Like you can just have a small oven that has two, if you're just baking a tray of potatoes or whatever, it's just two tiny little things. You don't have to heat up a whole big thing.
You know what I'm envisioning for the wash station is
What?
having like a big deep sink with 3 sections.
Mhm.
One rinse, one wash, and one
Amen, brother.
sanitize.
That's
And
how
you can
it's
fill one up
supposed
with sanitized water and just have it for the day, when
See?
you're sanitizing
and pull the
stuff all
plug
day.
to let it run down.
Right. And then have
all
like a
that's
whole
necessary.
whole area next to it where it's a whole drying rack where you can
Yes.
organize things drying, right?
Yes.
That would be badass.
And you know what else? Hot water.
And then like
Hey.
we have here like a permanent wash station.
Dishwasher.
A permanent
is that
wash
right?
station where
Yeah.
it's like a permanent wash station outside the kitchen for when, we're eating communal style and then everybody can like
Yes.
go through kind of
So-
like
So they have these commercial dishwashers. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. But basically, it's a metal like encasement that has a handle. You lift it up, and in there goes one of those plastic crates. Have you ever done any dishwashing in a restaurant? Anybody?
Yep.
It's
Yes.
4 to 6 inch tall, different types of crates, and
Yes.
gonna
it's
hold all the
a
dishes and
steam
whatnot.
washer.
And then
Mhm.
a flat area before and after. So the dirty dishes are getting like lined up in the trays, one at a time. Put it down, press start, washes, dries, it heats it up, whatever it does, slides out, and it can air dry for a minute and get put right up on the shelf where it goes.
wow.
Yeah.
That sounds really
The 3
fancy.
compartment sink could be part of the preparation and washing
I'm
of the
not sure if
vegetables
we
and
need
whatnot.
like that commercial style, but that's a great idea though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's on my wish list for sure.
So
Yeah.
our outdoor prep kitchen area can contain that and all of these other things that we spoke about, the community feel, the outdoor pizza oven. I mean, it can be all out there. And I'd like it to be like almost like the whole freaking length of the building in a width that would be appropriate, like to accomplish so many things with
Y'all see my
Beautiful breeze.
designs? My designs of the setup there at Grace 2? Like
I
the
couldn't
location?
understand it.
You couldn't understand it?
Not really.
Why not?
I think having you walk me through where was where,
Yeah.
I'd be able to understand it more, but
I think I
couldn't
haven't really looked at it. I just have an idea of what I've seen when I'm up there, and a lot of it's going to have to be cleared, the area, but to make space for the buildings. But it's basically having the kitchen and then a back access that goes out that turns into a walkway where the food processing area is right here with the storage on attached to it. So it's like food processing and storage right out behind the kitchen
Yeah.
community center. And then there's another walkway that connects to the dry room where we'll be drying a bunch of things. And then that goes all the way over to that other plantel that we have.
Yep.
That would be like another communal space, possibly like yoga deck with like a tea room, like /
Yeah.
work area. Like I'm thinking of like the tea room here, but having it bigger and like, because we need more space for like
And air
prayer,
conditioned space.
like prayer room
Uh-huh.
and like quiet space almost,
See.
and then have like the community center for the events and like hanging out and doing fun stuff, but have this as like almost like a sacred area where it's like
Yes.
quiet. You can do like work if you need to. You can get a meditation in. You can potentially do like yoga and stuff like that.
But for it to be large enough to accommodate
Yeah,
more
I mean
people
that
than what we
plantel is
have now.
huge. The plantel is like itself, and it's got an awesome view of the ocean from right there too. You can
Mhm.
actually see the ocean. And if it's like 2 or 3 stories, I mean, it'd be epic to have like a deck on the top or
I was
whatever.
gonna say, wouldn't that be lovely on the higher floors? Because
Yeah,
this community center is actually gonna be as many as three stories tall.
the one we have planned is 3
So-
stories. Yeah. So this
Uh-huh.
one, I mean, even if it was like 2-story, it's still like you can see San Ysidro on one side and then the ocean on the other side.
Yes.
And it'd be cool to have like that sort
Uh-huh.
of space to do that stuff. But it'd be like all connected back there, utilizing all the space that we have there and just not having it as a wooded area, like actually utilizing all that on the same level slope,
Yeah.
kind of so you're not having to haul shit uphill.
Uh-huh.
Cole, that inspires me, all that vision. Thank you. And I see the yoga movement area and how Sarah Kay's been, seeing that vision for like a nice floor for movement, big open space to dance and move and
An ascension deck feel.
yeah.
From the
Ascension deck
highest area,
fill.
beautiful view spot. Yeah.
I'm thinking more of like sacred
Mhm.
spaces, like the dancing. I mean, I don't know. It depends on what's going on, but I'm envisioning that bottom plantel as like a gym slash workout place where it's more active down there. Uh,
On the main level.
what's that? No, down at the bottom plantel.
Oh,
That's
you
just
mean
what
the
I'm
second
thinking.
level? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
like all
okay.
the way down, have like a gym area with like a deck
Oh,
where you
yeah.
could do like dancing and like
Yes.
yeah, like an
Mhm.
expressive area. I'm thinking this area might be more of like a contemplative space, but
Mm,
that's just what I'm thinking.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to like see like the issues we have here is like we're not able to use the ascension deck sometimes because people live there, right? And we're not
Yeah.
able to do the things we want to do. So having like
Yeah.
dedicated spaces for each thing
Uh-huh.
is like the idea.
I wrote down
Yeah, so
loud area.
That's a
A
beautiful.
what? Loud?
Scream.
Loud area. Mhm.
And I don't know if we want to be, it'd be
So-
maybe fun to scream up at the top. I don't know.
Huh.
So, so boom, that just opened up a
I,
whole
lo-
thing for me.
I,
It's
lo-
trying to fit everything.
That's gonna break that leg.
I'd like to read a snippet from that inspiration from Mel's post here. She's got the herbal sanctuary written up in the Grace to Dragon Dreaming signal chat, and it says herbal sanctuary, a living altar of regeneration. It's not just a workspace, it's a sacred heart of our healing. And in that she's seeing it in the center of the village, nestled among the lemongrass and the mango tree, middle plantel, is our herbal sanctuary, a regenerative healing hub that serves the body of Christ through herbal medicine, education, beauty, and rest. And there's more details there, but that is,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we have the space to do all these areas. I'm just thinking that middle plantel I'm envisioning it being like greenhouse slash soil center and like having that there, having on the middle plantel.
okay, I'll make a note.
That just being the garden like epicenter of like everything. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. But if we have space to do like all this, whatever. But I'm just thinking like it would be nice to have the soil center next to the greenhouse where you have everything there. And then obviously the kitchen stuff all in the same area too. Yeah.
It's almost like the tea apothecary prayer, the sacred zone is where we gather to pray, we go to heal, we go to get quiet. It's the quiet zone versus the loud zone. It's where if there's an injury, you come to the apothecary, like the first aid is there, and that's what I'm seeing on that. And then like maybe the more expressive movement is in a different location.
Okay, so Dragon Dreaming has no limitations, right?
That's right.
So here's what I just envisioned.
You got.
The community center on the highest level, and that's the first stage of the building plan, right? And then that second level, what you're speaking to, Cole, is it going to be sort of happening simultaneously, or is that like the second stage, like that's all going to get complete, and then
We don't know.
we don't know. So, what I can envision after you spoke to Soil Center Greenhouse, what I envisioned was what John already promised me when I saw it on Facebook, and I said, John, we need this at the Grace too, and he was like, it's done. It was like a ski lift type of a thing, right? So we're gonna have all this stuff that we harvest, right? So there can be little chairs like ski lift, but like 3 chairs, and the fourth one would be a cage or whatever.
Basket.
So it can be like a continuous kind of a thing moving, but if you want to put some shit in the cage part, you toss it in and then you hop on a seat and just move people and shit from the
From bottom.
one level to the next level in a magical way, right? Like,
You getting that? You getting that, Erica?
Oh yeah, oh I got it. I put it at the top of the list.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just back up to sit into it like
Yes,
I'd
for
be able to
people
see
and things.
outward, like a bench, a little bench seat, maybe 4 foot, where a couple of people could just kind of back into it and just ride it up sideways. And while you're enjoying the view, watching the monkeys, watching the
Mhm.
beautiful birds or whatever, and you've already dropped your backpacks and your whatever in the cage section, like where it won't fall out and whatnot, or you put your whatever your branches of belly hibiscus in there, or your hearts of palm, or whatever you want to bring up to the kitchen.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Nice. All right. So these were some things that Lucy sent in ahead of time. I just want to get them. They're already on the main document, but I just want to get them on the video too. So she had suggested a designated clean area with lots of shelves and counter space next to the sink to store dried nuts and seeds, and then also any like a sprouting area. So if you're sprouting any of those seeds, dehydrating into snacks, a cleaning area specifically for jars, canning, sprouting, kombucha, sinks with plenty of counter space around them, a small electric pot or stove or gas grill to heat up boiling water so that you can sanitize jars and things like that. Dehydrators, possibly solar. That would actually be really cool. I think that goes under processing over there. Solar dehydrator, bigger one of those.
Would be like in the dry room, right? I feel like that'd be a good space for it,
Mhm. Yep.
like dehydrating and drying all
Having
that
its own
stuff.
little drying room down here. Mhm.
Yep.
If
A separate, yeah.
if solar dehydrating was a high priority, Eric Rivkin has an epic design at his place. It's a walk-in one that he built. I took a video of it, so that's a design template available.
Yeah, if you can find that video, we can collect that as well.
Okay.
A separate area elsewhere, maybe near the greenhouse with 2 sinks and counter space in order to process food before it even comes to us. Compost bucket for food scraps, having the buckets have lids and possibly hung up off the ground so it's easy to sweep under. My big thing with the compost, I want to figure out some kind of tray system or something that can be rinsed out each night because people are missing the buckets and it's getting shit on the floor and it's just really gross and it doesn't get cleaned up. And so some kind of maybe
Yeah.
rubber tray or something that can hold those 2 buckets in it. The other thing is, I'm just speaking to this now because we're talking about Grace 1 and Grace 2. Having, being certain that the buckets get emptied at nighttime, because it's literally just a rat buffet in there. Those lids aren't doing anything because they're not actually on the buckets. They're just sitting on top. So, making sure that that compost system is, getting done every night.
And we'll have to walk it down to maybe the compost area by the soil center on that lower level. at first, but once we have our ski
Yeah.
lift, the buckets, whatever design we come up with should be easily attached to the lift to where they can be just transported down,
Mm-hmm.
And,
back and forth.
and I think if we're gonna be like, I imagine there's also gonna be garden beds somewhere close to the kitchen or to this community
Yes,
center.
please.
And
Or-
so, yeah, like I feel like having the
Lettuce or-
compost from the kitchen,
Oh.
it's one of the permaculture principles, not
You
to
might be
work
able to
harder
stay
than
up
we
there.
have to.
Yeah.
So just keeping it somewhere in that vicinity to where it's right there.
Hmm.
Might be a different process for the composting to decompose, but then we got our own soil for that space.
Beautiful. That'd be easy.
So
to-
what exactly was that, Dennis? Next to the kitchen compost? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And not necessarily downwind, like we'll have to see how the patterns and the winds blow up there
Mhm.
and choose a location strategically.
So, yes, so definitely, again, not working harder than you have to. Um, Lots of fans and windows, sufficient ventilation for each room, bathroom access nearby, more chest freezers, especially the ones that are more energy efficient, and a root cellar she's got on her list too. And then also a designated dirty area. So that was what they were mentioning before, like waste collection is going to start in the kitchen. So anything like plastic or anything like that, but also, as I was saying at the beginning, this is a very interdependent thing. So this goes into laundry, this goes into housekeeping, this goes into all these different other spaces. So. And then from Debbie, she had said a large overhang off the back where the deliveries arrive. So yes, having something covered where in case of rain, trucks can still come in and out and can bring stuff in. Section of it could be half walls with the area screened, air circulation without bugs or animals, and a safe place to store the eggs. So making sure that that area is screened in, our fruits. Ventilation, this is from me, just really being mindful of the ventilation, a way to cool off the heat from using that oven or the stove. Ideally, an exhaust fan that's going to the outside somewhere, so it's not just taking the heat, it's taking any smells or anything like that also away also. And then design it so that it has a cross breeze, and then we can use fans. And then if we don't have, for some reason, it's a really cloudy day for a week in a row and we don't have a lot of power, we have cross breeze that's going to take care of it anyway.
And they have a thing called whole house fan in the United States that you put up in your attic, and it's got a nice, whatever, strong power, and it pulls your cooler air from your house and sends it up and out the roof of the house, and that could be like in the very highest point in the ceiling in the kitchen, or I don't know where.
Yeah,
Some
maybe
sort of
a few of them.
Yep.
So stainless steel walls, especially in the separate food processing area with really big, deep sinks, drain in the middle of the floor so that we can really deep clean the whole place, including scrubbing the walls and holding it down. Wish list for Phoenix is an ice maker.
Ice maker, yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Baking station with big rectangle pans, commercial dishwasher, hot water at the sinks, and pipes that can actually handle hot water going down them.
Hallelujah.
You can write down PEX pipes, actually, Erica, if you want to write that down.
Can
PEX.
you was this page typed somewhere?
PEX. PEX.
Do you have all this typed up that I could copy and paste?
Yeah, this is already in the document, but not that. PEX is not in there, so that's why I was asking you to
I
write.
gotcha.
Half-size gas oven stove, so we can only heat up a small amount of needed, and the Tupperware being the same size. And I really want to see us do rainwater catchment system, gray water filtration.
Yes.
And then there's some other lists in there as far as the tile, this was for the serving station. Again, all of this is typed up already, but I'm just getting it on the video. So the serving station, using tiles and dry erase markers to label all the dishes being served. And the little tiles, start with one,
Yeah.
2 pieces only, getting those made and practicing using them here. A serving station that holds all the dishes and utensils below
Yes.
the serving bar. And then also all of the bowls and the plates are the same, so they're all stackable with each other. And then I really loved having the separate condiment station away, and maybe even a like a cooling bar, so that you can put the
Yes.
condiments in the
That's
ice
right.
or in the whatever, so that if they sit out, like sauerkraut, if it sits out too long, it
All of those
goes-
things can be stored there. All the
Mm-hmm.
condiments can be in kind of like a single door refrigerator, like the one we got out
Yeah.
back, but the modern one.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And
That's not on the list, Erica. Can you write that down? A
Uh-huh.
separate refrigerator for the condiments, so they can be put away every night, because ideally,
Yes.
we're gonna be making our own hot sauces and stuff, and they won't have their preservatives in them, so
yeah,
keeping them refrigerated and easy to put in and easy to take out.
so
Yes.
they're available to those that are coming to the service window to eat. And even if they're not out, they're available. There'd be a
That could
little
also-
table where you could pull out a jar of sauerkraut, take yourself some, put it back, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, where you're
So I'm
eating
seeing possibly the condiment fridge could be the same as the leftover fridge. So if we
leftover
don't want
fridge,
people,
condiment
we
fridge.
don't want
magical.
people going in the kitchen. We
Yes.
just have one refrigerator outside
Uh-huh.
that's
And
ideally got the glass door so people can see what's in there. And then,
Yes.
a whiteboard on it that can label,
Yes.
what's in there.
And all those beautiful storage containers that they stack lovely and don't take up a ton of space can be right there to either on the outside of the service bar, so
True,
that the
pack it
person
up.
that's packing up
Nice.
the buffet
Beautiful.
can find the containers right there on shelves, visible. Put the things away. Let the markers and the labels be on a little bit of a shelf right there, and right into that fridge.
I
So
love
from
it.
that point forward, there's no reason for any village member to come inside the main kitchen. My dream for this space is that the inside of the kitchen would be a sacred space that would only be um, uh, accessed and utilized by the ones
Kitchen
actually
team members.
preparing
Yes,
meals.
preparing meals.
Yes. So if you're not preparing a meal,
Amen.
let there be another spot where you can do the things you need to do. Many smaller spots.
Well, there's also
Are
the
gonna be
whole
available.
processing area.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's where everybody could do whatever they need to do. So the kitchen space is more of a
Invitation only.
uh-huh. And let's lay the floor plan out in such a way where it's not encouraging a pass through.
Mm-hmm.
Please. Let's design this in such a way where it does
Absolutely.
have the energy of, I need an invitation to enter energetically,
Yeah.
as opposed to, oh, I need to get over there, so I'm going to walk right through. And in the meantime,
That's
I'm
actually,
going to talk, I'm going to grab something, I'm going to,
yeah, this is actually
create an
something that
interruption.
I'm ready to implement right now at here.
Yeah.
Every single time that we have
Uh-huh.
guests come, we always say, no walking through the kitchen, and
Yeah.
we're just getting more and more and more people, and so
Uh-huh.
I really want to implement that now, because
Yes.
it's becoming ridiculous. And so,
And it's not, it's just, we're a village of 40 people and it's our kitchen.
yeah,
So
and it's not the hallway.
It's,
Yeah.
uh-huh. Well, I know
All right.
It's not the hallway.
it's not going to be comfortable.
It's going to take it after the remember
Well, we can
experience. That's
practice.
what I'm saying. Everybody's
Used to
in
it
that
during that
habit
time.
during the remember experience, and you just say, guess what? We're going to keep doing that.
Amen.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down for practicing anyway. Yeah.
mm-hmm. Good. We're still dreaming. You got anything you want to add? Got to use the mic so they can hear you online.
Yeah. So that service buffet could actually be solidly built into and as wide as the open window that it encompasses, but it also could have collapsible shelves on either side that might just pop out at the time that we are serving or whatever. Or they could be permanent shelves, storing very neatly the appropriate
Do
things.
you want to sit over here?
But a collapsible shelf would
Yeah, I
would not
actually-
allow for clutter to land on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're approaching the service window from the outside, which every single villager would be doing, to get their food. And yeah, and when that's all shut down, some of it could disappear to where and some could close
Mm-hmm.
so that,
Do you
There's-
have a box? I mean, has anybody brought up like having a screened-in session area for fresh
Yes.
fruit? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
okay.
We spoke to a preparation area that would be large and
Screened in
in
space. Mm-hmm.
and have a way to protect our fruits and our eggs and various things from critters of all shapes and sizes, from gnats all the way up to wildlife,
Mm-hmm.
and in between our dogs and cats and whatever, right?
And a nice flow to a juice bar area.
Yep.
Oh, we don't have juice bar on here. Oh, our coffee
Ooh.
and tea
Bar and a
station.
tea station. That's their
Coffee,
their drinks.
tea,
Uh-huh.
juice bar station.
Yes. And that could be
We haven't envisioned that yet.
in that outdoor space where there's the columns. I
Mhm.
mean, whether we go along with that exact thing or not.
The community processing wash station pizza oven zone that you were saying, Debbie?
Say it again.
That's different than the coffee and tea station that we were.
Where were you seeing the coffee and tea station?
It's just gonna have to be somewhere that's in the
Accessible.
area where we eat, but not.
It
Yeah,
probably should be part of
just gonna need a
the
sink.
service window. So that
Mm,
in the
mm,
into
that's a
that.
good idea.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is it needs to be somewhere close, but not the same. It's
Not
like
the sa- yeah,
we need to
close
get our
enough.
food, but when you get your food, you got your hands full with your food, so you're not going to be getting your drink then
Right.
anyway. So for me, it's better if it's in another place. But you also don't want it too far away because
No.
I don't like
It has
people
to-
don't listen to the rule anyway, the mugs and the cups only thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. So still being able to wash everything in the same place, but it not be
Yeah.
clogging it up.
It can
so.
appear similar to this, but the wash part. Yeah. Not conducive to, like you say, just setting
So we'll dream on that one a little
Yeah.
bit.
a
You
little
can,
more
you
on
can
that
put
one.
a star on that.
But it has to have water so that the person making the larger batches
Yeah.
of coffee can fill up that coffee urn without marching it and walking long distance all the way to the kitchen, I guess was my
Yeah.
main thing.
Mhm.
Star for something now.
No, for us
Not-
to look over later.
Oh, okay.
And tea needs to be considered more.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It could almost be like Rancho is in a way, like a counter with the sink on the backside to
Mhm.
where you only approach it from the front. You're not necessarily going back behind the one that their box is making coffee and bringing up
Mhm.
teas and so on. Has their refrigeration and has their sink and has all their coffee condiments and supplies for restocking. They do it from the backside. People approach from the front side.
Can you write down, Erica, mini fridge in that area?
Yep.
Fridge.
Yeah, and that made me think of the guest fridge.
That
Mhm.
would be a different thing.
Yeah, but I was thinking different for the teas
Okay, mini fridge.
because the sugar and stuff could even go in there at the end of the night so that the bugs aren't getting
Yeah.
to it.
Nice.
I was just thinking of it being built into the counter. That's what I was seeing. Like on the, like if you look at it, you've got a little mini fridge, mugs that everybody can get to.
Yeah.
Something on, any if we need to get to something over here, but then on the back side is where anybody who's making the coffee, we can store the coffee, we can store the tea. So, but I think we did all the things.
I'd like to say maybe just one more thing, which encompasses like a a grander, more encompassing vision of how our work trade program could work in harmony with these new ways of being in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And in all these little beautiful workspace areas are providing opportunity for work traders to plug in to different tasks.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm envisioning our work trade program being more inclusive, more expansive, more structured in the way that a work trade person would be making a commitment to have a rotation between 3 or 4 important stations. Not just with the kitchen, in other words, but like, so maybe on the 7-day request, no, but like on the 30-day request, it could be 1 week in the kitchen, 1 week in the garden, 1 week with hospitality, and 1 week with, whatever. And then when you're
I like it.
requesting the 90-day after that, you're going to
You choose.
submit your request for what you were feeling most passionate about. But guess what? There's no guarantee you're going to get that necessarily. You can prioritize your preference. However, if we need help in the kitchen, that's where you're going to be asked to go.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to, you know what I mean, have
Yeah.
that choice to just, and the different boxes are going to have a board. Joe Blow, he did 3 hours in the kitchen today. So there's going to be a resource that's going to be available for leadership to verify that the work traders have,
Beautiful.
fulfilled their
I love it.
obligation. And we're going to be able to provide staff that is going to be trained. In other words, in your first 30-day request, during your 1-week kitchen stay, you're not going to kitchen training. That's what it's going to be, more or less. We're not expecting you to produce much of anything, but at least for the first few days, you're going to be shown
Mm-hmm.
all of the beautiful structure that we have.
Mhm.
You're not
It's a
just going to
good
be put your name on the square
Yeah, an
and make us
introduction.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be like that at all. It's going to be the exact opposite. It's going to be tasks building up to that
Level of responsibility. Mhm.
yeah,
Nice.
beautiful.
All right, ladies, do you think we've done it? I think before I cut off the thing, I'm going to zoom in real close to the board here. And I'm going to take some pictures, so we'll have the pictures too, but this way you can see what we talked about. So here's our Erica, can you tell me if you can read it?
Yep, I can read it.
All right, so here's our board from our Dragon Dreaming session, kitchen, dry goods, processing area, everything we talked about today. You can pause the video if you'd like and read them a little bit closer. We're going to take some pictures and document this in a summary document. And then we'll probably have another one just so we can prioritize things. And then we're going to start the planning stage. So, yeah. So, all right. Thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate you. Thanks for dreaming with us. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.